You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. We are now joined by Patrick Manzi, who is the chief economist for NADA. Patrick, thank you so much for stopping by CBT News. It's always great catching up with you and learning as to what we can expect out of the year ahead. So let's start by talking a little bit about April. April marked the second consecutive month of SAAR being above 17 million units, which is great news for dealers. How do you expect this to impact demand in the second half of 2025?
Well, first, thanks for having me, Jim. It's always great to see you too. And
Sure.
yeah, I mean, April sales numbers, March's sales numbers, those are the highest SAARs we've seen since, March and April of 2021. And we all remember what was happening back then.
Yeah.
It was when everybody kind of got wind of the chip shortage coming.
That's right.
Inventory was really sold down. We're all vaccinated. People had money. And so we saw the SAAR climb above 18 million back in April.
Yeah.
So it's one of the strongest performances in many, many years. But really, I think consumers are smart. They're aware of the tariffs that have been enacted by the current administration. And so they wanted to get out there and get their hands on some inventory that wasn't affected by tariffs. So really, I think you've seen a lot of pull ahead purchases here. And I think that's going to end up, we're going to have a really solid Q2, probably one of the best second quarters we've had in a long while as dealers work through this pre-tariffed inventory.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. With rising vehicle prices, are we likely to see more consumers moving, though, to used vehicles versus new?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've already seen, some rising prices in the wholesale market. Talking with dealers, I hear they're paying more in the lanes. And, personally, I sold a car recently. I checked all the normal sites that you might want to check for valuations, and I watched my valuation go up for several weeks in a row before I ended up selling the vehicle. So, yeah, we're seeing used prices up because there is demand.
Sure.
Data supply, if you look at some of the data Cox puts out on inventory and used vehicle day supply, I think it's around 43 days right now for used vehicles, and that's the lowest it's been in several years. So I know the dealers are going to bust out that COVID playbook, blow the dust off of it. I wouldn't be surprised if I start seeing those "We'll buy your car" signs getting put back up along the roadsides as they try to get creative with new ways to source these vehicles.
Yeah.
We were already kind of facing a bit of a challenge with late model going into this year because the number of off-lease vehicles has fallen dramatically, because if you go back 3 years, we sold many fewer cars, and the leasing penetration of the ones we did sell fell to about 15%, down from about 30%. So we're feeling that now. So we have increased demand from consumers. We have a lower and tighter supply. That's a perfect storm for higher used prices, I think.
Right. And like COVID that you were mentioning earlier, dealers like the fact that there's lower inventories out there, right? I mean, it brings down their floor plan costs in a very, very big way. Might even save on some headcount, right, to maintain that inventory. So that's not a terrible thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, floor plan savings is a big one, right? That can be a major expense, or it can almost turn into somewhat of a profit center on new vehicles. But yeah, I'm sure every dealer out there is happy with, that the cars are turning faster. And I would hope that we don't see any reductions in headcount, because we just finally got back to our kind of pre-pandemic level of employment at franchise dealerships. We're back over 1.1 million employees across the country.
Okay.
And so, just personally, I wouldn't want to see anybody lose their jobs, in these
Well,
uncertain times.
maybe I should have said reallocated in the dealership, rather than losing headcount, right?
Yeah, maybe they move some of the new sales folks over to used or something like that.
Sure. From your perspective, what are the most significant economic risks facing the automotive industry for the rest of 2025? What are some of the things that may keep you up at night about the industry?
Well, we're going to see, we're not really going to see any relief in borrowing costs. If you look at, some of the longer term treasury yields, those are still elevated.
Yeah.
And that's what, largely auto finance rates are pegged to. And, the Fed's really probably not going to make any moves either to cut rates. And so I think we're going to have this high interest rate environment in a world rising new vehicle prices. So that's already a struggle. And then you add in the increasing costs of car insurance. Now that's up, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, CPI on motor vehicle insurance, that's up about 55% since just before the pandemic. And in the last reading we got, it was up 6.4% year over year. Now that's a marginal cost for the consumer, but all of the numbers matter in a car deal, and I think dealers are very well aware of that. Yeah. And so that's just one more issue we're going to have to deal with. I'm also a little concerned about maybe some slowing growth because we have seen a lot of big purchases pulled ahead, and I think consumers may sit on the sidelines a little bit for some of these big ticket items as they wait for more certainty with regards to policy out there.
Yeah, for sure. What about on the EV front? What have you got to report on EVs?
I think the biggest stat I like to talk about is franchise dealers now control over 50% of the battery electric vehicle market. So they're selling the majority of battery electric vehicles out there. And it looks like ACC2 out of California is going to go away. So the OEMs aren't going to have to hit some of these big, 35, 43% electric vehicle targets that we're going to just ratchet up each year. And I think that's going to allow them to kind of pace out better the introduction of some of these products. Yeah. Right now, if you look at the data, hybrids are just, they're red hot. They're up 40% over year each month. Yeah. And that's where the consumer's mind is at right now. Yeah. So it gives, the OEs a little more time to kind of work on these EVs, figure out a little bit more what the consumers want, and, deliver them at a pace that consumers demand. So I'm still confident we're going to see growing penetration of battery electric vehicles, but it's just going to take longer than we all thought it would.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think and I know it's very early in the year and a lot could happen, but what kind of a SAAR are you forecasting for the year with all of this that's taking place now?
Well, big global news, we could get an announcement tomorrow that blows up everything or cause a big shift. But from where I sit today, we're going to have a really strong first two quarters because of all the pull ahead purchases. And I kind of expect, kind of low to mid 15 million unit range. So let's call it a 15.3, 15.4 million unit SAAR. Okay. Now that is down from an above 16 million unit SAAR we were expecting at the beginning of the year. But, I don't think it's going to be, we're not really going to feel the effects, I should say, rather, of tariffs this year. I think we will see more of an impact on sales in 2026 from this. Right now, I think all the OEMs are just trying to figure out, the optimal way to produce these vehicles and get them on the dealer lots. Sure.
Patrick Manzi, Chief Economist for NADA. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us this update. Very much appreciate it. Everybody that's in the industry is staying very, very close to all of the news to figure out what Trump's next move is on tariffs, right? That's going to dictate a lot.
We're doing the same thing here at NADA. We're reading everything we can, just trying to better understand what's coming. And thank you so much for having me, Jim. I always enjoy our conversations.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Stay well.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.